Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Today I want to talk about the power of women in finance. Women are becoming a rising force in the financial world. There's been a lot of studies done recently on the female investor. What we can see is that females have more money now than they've ever had before, thanks to inheritance, thanks to divorce settlements, and also thanks to their own entrepreneurial spirit. We can see that women are investing more than they've ever invested before, and there's good reasons for this. 1. Women tend to live longer than men, so it's really important for them to have some sort of a nest egg to fall back on. Secondly, women tend to be more risk-averse, which means that when they do invest, they tend to keep their investments for longer. They don't panic sell. They don't buy into FOMO. They're just more likely to hold long-term. This is a good thing because typically the markets go up over the long term. If you're just buying into something because your friend bought into it and then you find out that your friend lost money, well, that's not a good reason to buy into something. So being more risk-averse actually helps women out because they tend to hold their investments for longer and therefore benefit from the long-term growth. Women control about $32 trillion of wealth globally, so that's pretty significant. It's about half of all of the wealth that exists in the world today. Also, women are becoming entrepreneurs at a higher rate than men. There's actually 1.4 million more women businesses than there is men-owned businesses in the US, and they're growing at twice the rate that men's businesses are growing. Now, this is still a male-dominated industry. Men still control about 87% of all of the wealth in the world. But I think that will change, especially with younger generations. Millennials are more likely to be financially independent. Younger generations are more likely to start a business earlier. And we already know that Gen Z, so those born after 1997, they're almost 50-50, male and female. And I think that will have a big impact on the future of finance. If you're interested in learning more about finance, check out our free newsletter. We send out weekly newsletters every single week to help you on your finance journey. I'm going to show you a couple of quotes about women in finance. The first one is by John Maynard Keynes. He said, "It is well enough that women should be beautiful, but it is not well that they should know it." This was in 1923, and obviously this is misogynistic and wrong. Just because you're a woman doesn't mean that you're not smart. In fact, most of the time, women are smarter than men. Then there's another quote by Margaret Thatcher, and she said, "If you want something said, ask a man. If you want something done, ask a woman." Now this I agree with. I think that's why there's so many more women starting businesses. They get things done. If you want something said, if you need a salesperson, you might hire a man. But if you want results, if you want something done, you're going to hire a woman. Lastly, there's a quote by Hillary Clinton. She said, "Women are not the majority in power anywhere in the world. But just wait. Not yet, and I think we're getting there." So here's how women are changing the face of finance. First of all, we're becoming investors. As I mentioned earlier, we're building up our own nest eggs. Thanks to inheritance, thanks to divorce settlements, and also thanks to our own entrepreneurial spirit. In the US, women now control about 52% of the bank deposits, and they also own about 42% of the stocks held in brokerage accounts. Secondly, women are changing the way that companies operate. So when women are on the board of a company, they tend to make more conservative decisions. They're less likely to take risky bets, which in the long term is probably a better thing for the company. And also they tend to pay more attention to ESG factors, so environmental, social, and governance factors. And this isn't just me saying this. There's studies to back it up. For example, the Credit Suisse study found that having one woman on a board improves a company's return on equity by 10 percentage points. Another study by McKinsey found that companies with more women in leadership positions were more profitable, more likely to grow, and more likely to outperform their peers. And lastly, women are challenging the status quo. So for example, Sally Krawcheck, she founded Alevist, which is a financial firm that caters specifically to women. There's also organizations like the Women's Bond Club, which is an organization that was founded in 1996 to promote women in the fixed income industry. And then there's also organizations like 1868, which was founded in 2017 to advance women in private equity. There's a few barriers that women still face today. One of them is access to capital. So studies show that women are less likely to receive funding for their businesses, and they also less likely to receive that full amount that they ask for. So, for example, in 2021, only 2% of the venture capital went to all-female teams, and 12% went to teams with at least one female founder. This is a big problem because if you don't have enough capital, it makes it harder for your business to succeed. And I think this is something that needs to change. Another barrier that women face is the lack of role models and mentors. When I grew up, I didn't know any female investors. All the investors that I saw on TV were men. This is a big problem, because if you don't have anyone to look up to, it makes it harder to succeed. You don't have anyone telling you that it's possible, telling you that you can do it. But despite these challenges, women are still making a lot of progress in finance. For example, there's now 7 female CEOs in the Fortune 500. And also, there's more and more women breaking the glass ceiling and becoming leaders in the industry. For example, Jane Fraser is the CEO of Citigroup. She's the first woman to hold that position. And then there's also Karen Walsh, who's the CEO of State Street Global Advisors. And then there's also several other women leading major banks and investment firms. This is a really exciting time to be a woman in finance. There's so much opportunity out there, there's so much potential, and I think that the best is yet to come. Let me know in the comments below. Are you a woman in finance? What are some of the challenges that you've faced? What are some of the successes that you've had? I'd love to hear your story. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a thumbs up. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our channel to get notified when we post new videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day.